Okay, so it's been a while since I found any Masters of the Universe Origins in the wild. Uh, the last one I got the Green Goddess that I ordered off of Amazon, and I actually ran across some in the stores, so I had to buy them. 'Cause that doesn't happen very often. So I got what's supposed to be Minicomics Stratos, and this is a figure that I've wanted to see them make for a while, but I think that they kind of dropped the ball in some ways, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's have a look at the back of the package, where there is a lovely piece of artwork with Stratos and He-Man both battling with this sea monster that actually is a character from like the older mini comics. You know how they like to put a lot of Easter eggs into this artwork. This artist is very talented and does a good job with this. And you can see Stratos firing an energy blast out of his hand because he could. So I think it's probably some kind of like he's wearing, like he can't actually shoot it, energy out of his hands. But if you look at, you can't really see it in the artwork, but if you look at the figure, he has like that. I'll show it to you when you take it out. So Stratos, Winged Warrior, modern posing retro play, and it says powerful, agile, and a natural leader, the mighty Stratos battles evil all over Eternia. Well, that seems kind of generic. And we can see the cross-cell artwork where the figures included in this assortment, along with He-Man and Skeletor. We got the Sorceress, now in her Filmation colors, as opposed to the Castle Grayskull one that was in the mini-comic colors. We've got Jitsu, the evil master of martial arts, Stratos, the winged warrior, which is the figure we're talking about right now, and Buzz-Off, heroic spy in the sky. So I did see Buzz-Off while I was out today, but I was already getting so many action figures with the ones that I got. So Buzz-Off was the one I had to leave behind. I did not see the sorceress. So that means I saw out of the two targets that I went to, I saw three of the four figures in this assortment, and I wound up buying two. So if you're keeping track, that means that I bought Jitsu. So anyway, let's go ahead and open up Stratos and have a look at the figure. And since this is a new mini comic, we'll be looking at the mini comic too. So here we go. And the mini comic is Challenge of Jitsu. So I guess that Jitsu is going to be challenging the heroic warriors. And this one's kind of unusual in that He-Man's not on the cover at all. It's just Jitsu and Stratos and Buzz-Off. So let's see. You have the Sorceress sitting in her throne. And she says, "Greetings, He-Man. It is good that you have answered my call." "It's good to see you as well, Sorceress. Friends Buzz-Off and Stratos." And then Buzz-Off says, "I'm not going to do that annoying Buzz-Off voice from the cartoon, because that's... You're welcome." It just sounds so horrible. And Buzz-Off says, "I wish the visit wasn't under dire circumstances. Adrenos has been mysteriously attacked with heavy losses to my home and people." And then Stratos says, "Avion as well. We have attempted to track the source, but our investigation has come up empty." And the sorceress says, "I have detected no spell. Some great physical force is the cause of the destruction." And then He-Man says, "By the goddess, what unleashed all the carnage?" And then the sorceress says, "To the entire Mystic Mountains." And then the next page shows the Mystic Mountains, and Stratos is flying there, and the Talon fighter alongside him, and Buzz-Off. There's Buzz-Off down in the corner. "Scanners aren't picking up anything." "I see something, rather someone." And there's Jitsu sneaking around a rock with this creature here. And Jitsu says, "Ha, you're no match for Jitsu's might, Manticore. Looks like we just found our problem. Hiya! Figured I'd do a little bit of a George Takei thing there. Whoever you are, stop at once. State your business or leave, or we will force you to leave. Aha, finally some warriors. You look like you could be a challenge to Jitsu. Force you to leave it is. Ah, the one they call He-Man. At last we meet. Skeletor told me all about you. And he's got the, come at me bro kind of pose there. And, Skeletor, huh? You just said the magic word. Then let's find out who's the better fighter, you or me. And then Jitsu jumps at Stratos and karate chops him. And I noticed that Stratos in this comic is actually colored like the original figure and not like the mini-comic version of Stratos. I guess they didn't want the continuity blip in there. Stratos! Watch out, he's fast! Oh, you don't say, He-Man. So then, it looks like Buzz-Off is zapping him with his axe, and Jitsu deflects it with his metal hand. Hiya! Buzz-Off! And then Jitsu has his sword out and he says, enough distractions, let's end this, He-Man. And He-Man says, the quicker the better. And then you see He-Man and Jitsu doing battle. And finally He-Man grabs a hold of Jitsu's metal hand and blocks the karate chop. And Jitsu's like, impossible. And then both Stratos and Buzz-Off charge at him for Avion! For Andrinos! For Eternia! And then he's just knocked out. Ugh! Sorry to bust your chops, Jitsu. Is he going to your jail or to mine? And that's the end. So, not a bad comic. Not as good as the previous one, which I really enjoyed. The, was it Rock in a Hard Place? That one was really good. That one, I think, is easily the best of these that I've run across so far. So, but this one wasn't bad. It was fine. Let's go ahead and take Stratos out of the package. And his accessories are his wings. So, when they put out the first Stratos figure, they did him with blue wings and a red jetpack. And I was kind of disappointed in that, because I figured if they got around to making this version of Stratos, he would have blue wings and a red jetpack like he had in the mini-comics. Or, not a jetpack, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so we're stuck without a Stratos who has red wings and a blue jetpack, which is how he was depicted in most of the media. So there are the wings. We'll set those aside for now. And, we got a little trash bag down there. Right? A little baggie in there. And let's see if I can get him out. These rubber bands are going to be a pain. So here's what I was talking about with him firing laser bolts out of his hands. And Beastman did this in the mini-comics too. Is he actually has like a little thing that you see here. I think that it's supposed to be like some teeth that Beastman had as like jewelry. And since Stratos had the same mold as Beastman, he just wound up having the same thing. But I kind of like to imagine that was where the energy was blasting out of. Maybe it's magical, maybe it's technological. I don't know. But yeah, so one of the things that's kind of disappointing to me about this figure, insofar as trying to be the mini-comic version of Stratos from those early mini-comics, where it was more based off the production artwork and not so much on the figure, is that it is a complete remold of the original Stratos. So everything that was a flaw on the original Stratos, like these weird sock feet, is a flaw on this one. But it's even weirder on this one since, he's skin-colored. So, you could maybe imagine he's wearing some gray socks, but he's wearing skin-colored socks? That's just strange. I noticed that the blue is a lot darker and the yellow is a lot lighter than it was on... Well, actually, it wasn't a yellow belt on the original Stratos. It was a red belt, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was a red belt. And so darker blue on the wings, darker blue on the goggles, which they are actually goggles on this one, I think, because they did not paint his eyelids as gray. So, so I guess they forgot about that. Uh, but yeah, Minicomics Stratos was supposed to have, toes on his feet, and also he technically didn't have a jetpack. He just kind of had like a feathery fringe around his neck. So, but I guess to cut costs, they just did a simple paint swap on this and molded him in flesh-colored plastic. Which honestly, I wish they had went with a darker shade, maybe more like a deep tan, like how the Rock was sculpted in that color, because it just looks almost kind of like he's sickly. He's a little too pale. But it's basically just kind of like a recreation of the original Stratos figure with some added articulation, and he's colored to look like how he looked in the mini comic. But I wish that Mattel had have actually gone the extra mile and given him some toes on his feet, which they could have also used on the Lords of Power Beastman, and that would have been a much better thing. And given him the fringe around his neck. I don't know if they have access to the parts from they did the mini comic version of Stratos as an exclusive for PowerCon in the classics line, and it seems like it would have fit on this figure just fine. So I'm not sure why they didn't do that. So, but I'm a sucker for anything that's mini comics. So yeah, I'm gonna buy mini comic Stratos, but I can't really recommend him to anybody who already has the original Stratos, because it doesn't really bring a whole lot more to the party except for those mini comic colors. So if you're into the mini comics and you just really want to get everything that you can mini comics wise, like me, yeah, go ahead and pick him up, because he's going to fit into that. But I think they could have done a much better job with this one, and I'm a little disappointed in it. It's not a bad figure per se. It's the same Stratos figure you got before, but that's the problem. It's the same Stratos figure we got before. I would have liked to seen some new parts, and it's a little disappointing that we didn't get them. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe below. Leave a comment as to what you feel about Stratos, and could they have done a better job with this one? I think they could have. Or are you happy with how it turned out? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.